This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and John discuss how the US Soybean Export Council works to increase international soybean trade.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have John Heisdorffer with US Soybean Export Council. When you talk about soybeans in the United States, you're talking about exports. It's a huge part of that market.
That's correct. And one of our biggest customers is China, of course. And they take 1 out of every 4 rows of soybeans grown in the U.S.
Yeah, it's amazing. And yet the entire crop still, there's even more of that that is exported.
That's right. About 60% of soybeans are exported. And if you figure in livestock in the U.S. that's fed and everything, it can be up to 70%.
And I'm going to clarify that because a few years ago I saw a display that you folks had, and it really is, I mean, when you export hogs, you export chickens, and those are fed soybeans and ultimately exported. Those beans ultimately then are exported.
That's correct. And the same way, you know, when you processor does soybeans, the oil goes for different things, you know, either food or even biodiesel. And then the meal, of course, is feeding livestock.
Why is it so many of our beans are exported? Why don't we just use them all here in this country?
Well, we just produce too many, that's all. And, you know, it's one of those things that protein is needed around the world, and U.S. has quality grain, and that's why we are lucky enough to be a large exporter.
Take, for instance, in China, they have raised lots of feed grains, have a huge number of livestock, but when they feed them soybeans, it just makes their productivity go out the roof.
That's correct. And aquaculture now is being one of the things that soybean meal is helping to produce more fish faster.
Truly, that aquaculture usage, though, a lot of that research was funded by soybean farmers.
That's correct. It was, and has been for the last 10 years probably.
So when we talk about your funding on the Soybean Export Council, how is the Soybean Export Council funded?
We're funded by USB, helps fund a lot, is our major funder, and then USDA also gives us some funds to work with.
So does it involve export promotion or research or both?
It can be both. As far as research, we don't really do research, but we help the end user show them ways that they can increase their gains and things by using US soybean meal.
Certainly, when you look at export markets, a lot of the same people that we deal with here in the United States are helping to market that product in foreign countries as well with their business presence.
Right, and that's what USSEC, United States Soybean Export Council, does not sell soybeans. We help the processors here, the exporters here, sell their product overseas.
We're visiting with John Heisdorffer. He is with the US Soybean Export Council. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Coming up after the break, it's our Kansas Farm Bureau update. Stay tuned.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.